Hey everyone, welcome to the PGA here on DKTV. I'm Wade McElwain, your sports ambassador. I'm joined by DK writer Jamie Hinks and Rory Anderson from Your Golf Travel, and we're talking golf. Did you see the big tournament that happened last week? It was the RBC Heritage. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Did you watch the game? You watched the match?
I watched as much as I could over the weekend, yeah.
Brandon Grace, South African, comes from behind, takes a listless Luke Donald down who couldn't hit anything. He takes, hits 5 birdies in the back and ends up winning it.
Yep.
Amazing. It was an amazing tournament. Also, big thing, Jason Day. How about that? On the Saturday, shoots like a 79, but still finished tied for 23rd. Not bad, Jason Day. And my boy, who I chose in my lineup, Bryson DeChambeau. I've said this guy 2 weeks. First pro win, took home $260,000 on his first trip, and also flew home on a private plane. Jamie, what did you think of the tournament?
I enjoyed it. I was well out of it from the start. I think I had quite a few people come through it, but yeah, my score was absolutely awful this week.
Because we do scores on it, but I don't even know. Like, I really don't even know what happened. I've been dizzy with. Can we bring up just see what happened last week at the RBC Heritage Classic? Maybe we can see exactly what. Oh my God! Oh my goodness! Jamie with 258.5 points. Edo, who's on gender reassignment surgery today, is at 326.5. Rory coming in at 342, which is really good on DraftKings. Not as good as probably 415.5. That's like a money.
Rory was saying someone got over 500.
500 was the winning score.
500 was the winning
score. On the dot, yeah.
So they would have
nose.
taken probably Grace as well.
They had Grace, DeChambeau, Donald, and a couple of other pretty high finishes.
500
well.
huge.
500 is very huge. We're just doing this as a broadcast. I think 415.5 is pretty huge.
I was very surprised when I saw you got that much.
I was 5 guys in the top 15. I don't think I was.
It's amazing. It's
Ricky
amazing.
Barnes, who I chose $5,000, ended up coming in 9th place.
Nice.
It's a value place.
That's the value.
It's a value place.
to get the
You know
value.
what? I don't do this professionally. I'm just a guy who loves golf. This week, oh my gosh, it's Valero. It's Texas Valero, one of the classic courses. Very exciting course. Par 72, designed, Jimmy Walker won it last year, and it was designed by what's his name?
Greg Norman.
Greg Norman and Sergio Garcia.
Yeah.
What do we think about this course?
Long. 7,400
Yeah,
yards,
74,
something like that.
35.
Apparently the fairways are pretty tight, and if you stray too far, then you're in the bund and the jungle. And
Yeah, it's really not very nice on the other side.
Kevin Na making a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll be talking about that. We will talk about Kevin Na later. That was in the 9th hole. But it's been really bad weather in Texas as well. I don't know if you've seen in Houston, but it's flooding and that they've had real problems. I mean, this is San Antonio, but close enough. Jamie, what are you looking for in this course?
I think it's going to be windy, and that could well decide who does well here. I think that I think whoever plays well in the wind will probably have a good day, and I've got a feeling the Australians might have a good day here as well.
The Aussies will play well in the wind, do you? Okay, Jimmy Walker, defending champion here. And also, he held off a charging Jordan Spieth last year to win it. And you've also got Phil Mickelson, who's entered in the tournament, looking to avenge a really embarrassing loss of the Masters. So now what we do is, I don't know, if you guys play DraftKings, do you play golf? You should. Choose 6 players, $50,000 is your budget, and I'm going to ask these guys, hey, who's on your team? We didn't ask Edo because, Edo's getting the gender thing done. So let's start off with you, Rory. Who was your first pick?
Patrick Reed.
Paddy Reed.
Yeah, 8 top 10 finishes already this season, 3 out of his last 4 starts in the top 10. Top 20 strokes gained tee to green. He's arguably the form player, just hasn't quite had the week where he's won, but it's surely only a matter of time with a player like that on that sort of form. So.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to put it together yet, and there's just a lot of guys out there that are still looking to sort of, get that angle together and make it happen.
But if you can get another top 10, I'll be happy with that.
That's always good. Jamie, who's your first pick? Who'd you got?
Aaron Baddeley at 7,400. I think he's kind of the young pretender of yesterday who never seemed to fulfill his potential as much as he could do.
A lot of people say that about me too.
Yeah. Had 4 top 10s in the last 6 starts. He came tied 9th last week as well. He's tied 9th. He's 9th in strokes gained for putting this year. And I think good recent form. I've tried to base it more on recent form this week because last week I didn't, and my lineup did terribly. So and I think 7,400. He's quite good value.
All right. Well, my first pick is a guy I've gone for every week. His price keeps going up. Bryson DeChambeau. You're on my list, 9,800. Ties for 4th, the RBC Classic. He's 22 years old. This guy I think he's got the next sort of Tigerish. I love that he's a scientific golfer. I'm going to take him, but I remember a couple weeks ago when I started taking him, he was in the 7,000 range. Now he's 9,800. But Bryson DeChambeau. I love your name. You're on my list. Mwah! Jamie, who's your number 2?
Right, shares a name with a great comedy character, Will Mackenzie.
Ooh.
6,800. Very cheap, I think. Good recent form. He was runner-up 2 years ago here. He's made 6 cuts in a row and came tied 8th in Puerto Rico, which a lot of people are saying is quite a good one to look at if you want to sort of study some form coming into this. And his last 5 tournaments in Texas, he's had 2 top 5s in the top 20. Yeah.
There he is. Rory, number 2.
I've gone for DeChambeau as well.
Oh, you just want to be like me.
Yeah, well, apart from that,
Yes.
I just want to get him into a team at some point before his price goes even higher.
Yeah, he's gonna, because if he does well on this one, he's in the 10,000 range. He's just
easily.
he's moving up, and he's so solid.
It's hard not to get swept up in the hype as well, but he's backing up with some pretty impressive golf at the moment too. His game probably suited his scientific approach or analytical approach probably suited last week's course. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes on a longer, much different test, but
yeah,
he hits it a long way as well.
He hits it a long way. He doesn't get flustered. That's what I like about the guy. He doesn't really show that emotion. He's got that really sort of just focus on it.
Yeah, so he hits it about 292 average this season. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why he can't carry on with his form.
All right, that's good. My second pick is a guy who won it in 2011 and has had 3 to 4 top finishes there. Missed a few cuts. It's Brendan Steele. Brendan Steele at 8,800. Yeah, he's not crushing it this year. He's not playing amazing, but this is a tournament I think he'll stay in the top 15. Brendan Steele, mwah, on my list. All right, Rory, how about number 3? Who you got?
This is my most expensive player, actually.
All right.
Zach Johnson. I've stacked the top end of my team. He's won the Texas Open twice before, but that wasn't a different course. But having said that, he's had 2 top 20s in the last couple of starts at this particular course. And he was leading the field in strokes gained tee to green last time out, and he was 4th in that category the year before.
It's good.
So if he plays well, I mean, he should finish fairly high up, and he could sneak another win.
Nice, and not confusing with the other Johnson, Zach Johnson, or Dustin Johnson, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a few Johnsons out there. Everyone throwing their Johnson on the table. How about you, Jamie? What do you got next?
Gone for Matt Kuchar, 10,700.
Oh, yeah, the Cooch.
Yep. He's an expensive one, but yeah, I think if you combine course history and current form, there's no other player better than this right now to pick in this tournament. 4 top 25s in the last 4 years here, tied for 4th in 2014, and he's had 6 top 30s in the last 7 events, including a 9th last week. Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't pick him if you had the cash.
Cooch is Cooch is one of those guys who's going to make the top 15, top 20. He's been playing that well. For myself, I'm going to go with a guy whose name I kind of like, Kyle Reifers. 7,500. He's moved up 100 points in his rankings, 2 top 11s in his last 3 starts, tied for 7th at the Houston Open. Yes, and he's tied for 11th in this course before. I like this guy. He's got some value in him, 7,500. Kyle Reifers. And no one says the word reefer anymore. We should bring that back. You're on my list. All right. Jamie, who you got for 3rd?
I really liked it. I really wanted Reifers. I just couldn't fit him in at all.
If you really want Kyle, you'll fit him in.
Yeah? All right.
Yes. That's my new slogan for him.
I've gone Daniel Summerhays at 8,300. I just looked at his record over the last 3 years here. He's been incredible. Top 10 3 times, 10 out of 13 cuts this year. That's all I've got on him, and I think that's enough.
That's enough. Rory, how about you? Next guy.
Well, now I'm down at the other end of the price spectrum. So I've gone for Jason Gore.
Okay.
At $6,000. He's missed the last couple of cuts, but he finished well at Valspar Championship at Innisbrook. What was that, 3 or 4 events back now? We finished tied 11 there. So again, this is a price-based pick.
Yep, as they are.
You can do another little Valspar on me, or on Texas.
On Texas, yes. Take it to Texas. It is value play, the kind of money you have left. And sometimes I like to choose my value players in the middle, which is why I chose Chad Campbell from Texas at 6,700. He was 1 under at the RBC, tied for 23rd place. He's a bit streaky, but he's back home in his home state of Texas. Chad Campbell, 6,700. You're on my list. All right, Rory, 5th guy.
Mark Hubbard.
Mark Hubbard in the cupboard.
Yeah, missed last week's cut,
Yeah.
but he was top 20 in the 2 events that preceded that. Again, this is a value pick, big time, $6,200. He's made 14 out of 17 cuts, and that's what my pick is based on. He seems to be consistent. He might not finish that high up the leaderboard, but if he's playing the weekend, then he can score me some points.
Yeah, and it's also when guys miss that cut. There's a bit of hunger coming back, because if you miss 2 cuts in a row, that really starts getting your game down. So this is going to play a little bit of fire. Jamie, 5th pick.
I'm hoping that the Bryce is right this week.
Oh, the puns.
Bryce Mulder at
I loved him on the X-Files.
7,500, who is on good current form, top 20 here last year, tied 6th last week, and tied 46th in Houston at the Houston Open as well. And he's made 4 cuts in a row. Yeah, I think he's 100 cheaper than Reefers, and that is why who I had instead.
Well, you want to spend good money on Reefer, and when you're getting it. My fifth pick is the Cooch as well. It's money left over, 10,700. Come on, Cooch is playing like a beast. Matt Kuchar on my list. All right, sixth pick, sixth and final. Rory, let's start with you.
Paul Jack Harrington. Let me try that again.
Really excited about it. You got a whole drag in your throat.
Yeah. Right, I'll recompose myself now. Obviously, he hasn't played that well since he won his majors a few years back in 07 and 08. But he proved last year at the Honda Classic that when he does play well, he can still win fairly big events. Doesn't miss too many fairways, scrambles still really well, and he makes a lot of cuts. And again, I'm picking him based on price. So.
Based on price, indeed. That's what happens for your last pick, generally. Jamie, last pick. Who do you got?
Jason Kokrak at 9,300. Tied sixth last week. 2 top 15s in the last 3 years here as well, and he seems to play well in the wind. I think at this price he's very cheap as well. I was expecting to see him above 10,000, and he's coming in at 9,300.
All right, good pick. And my pick, gosh, Rory, we have so much in common. I also chose Patrick Harrington because that's all the money I had left, 6,500. But, you know, English and Irish and Scottish golfers have been playing really well lately. Knox is one of these guys that's sort of flying under the radar. But again, with you, I agree with Patrick Harrington because he's Irish, and I love Ireland. So you're on the list, Patrick Harrington. All right, those are our lineups. Let's take a look at all of our lineups. Let's bring up Jamie's first. Jamie's got Badley, Mulder, Kuchar, Kokrak, McKenzie, and Summerhays. Really? He only costs 800? That's cheap. All right. All the ratings on DraftKings. Rory's picks. Rory, big money here on Zach Johnson, Patty Reed. You really hope that these guys can stay in the game, especially with Bryson as well. You blow a lot, and you don't want to lose those 3 guys. And let's take a look at the winning lineup. Bryson DeChambeau, Brendan Steele, Reefers, Campbell, Kuchar, and Harrington as well. Wow, those are our lineups. I can't remember the scores from last week. I think I won. So we'll see what happens next week. We'll take care of the scores, and Edo will join us next week. Hey, do you want to play in the Texas Open or play daily fantasy golf? Then go to DraftKings.co.uk, put together your own lineup, 6 guys, 50 grand. You could win big. Welcome to the big time.